Hello everyone, GalacticStorm here. Welcome to the show, and today we are going to be going further down into our Command & Conquer Rival guide. So today we are going to be going down onto the vehicles of GDI, in which we're going to be analyzing the GDI War Factory. Now the GDI War Factory units are all vehicles. They do a little bit more than the barrack units, but they can either range from either being cheap or moderately expensive. They can take on a variety of roles and can take down infantry, aircraft, and even the heaviest of vehicles. They can make a huge difference when being in the game, so you should be watching their weaknesses and see which one works the best. The greatest weaknesses within the GDI War Factory units are either going to be different vehicles, infantry, and aircraft. Let's begin, shall we? The War Dogs are the cheapest units that you'll have within the War Factory. They'll be able to scout up to 3 tiles away, and they will take on the most simple of infantry, most particularly militants and flame troopers. They can take them on one-on-ones, but they will have a longer time on killing them compared to like riflemen and that. And they will have some problems with the flame troopers since they have more health. So in this advice, send 2 packs of War Dogs and they'll be able to take them out a lot faster. And if you're able to have those 2 War Dogs, you can take down missile squads while you're at it. However, they will not do any damage when it comes to vehicles or aircraft. But if you prefer something that will take on infantry a lot more faster, the Rhino will dominate. They can take on even the missile squads too, but they will take it without taking some damage too in return. And in return too, the Rhinos can also take on aircraft. They can take out the aircraft when they're reloading, or they can take on the drones such as the laser drones and that. And they can take on the anti-aircraft like Phantoms or Hammerheads. However, with this thing having a machine gun, it will not do well when it comes to vehicles, and it will not do well against mutant marauders, zone troopers, those lot. The Pitbull is a fast-moving vehicle that can take not just on vehicles, but aircraft at the same time. They can also attack while on the move, so you can use more aggressive tactics. They can take down a whole bunch of vehicles and aircraft, and are usually good with numbers. 2 Pitbulls can take on a tank or some of the heavier units on offer. However, with one of them they will not last long against ranged units, tanks, infantry, banshees, or even mohawks. However, when you're using aggressive tactics too, they are very useful at harvester rushes, so you can get a good profit while early in the game. The MSV, or Mobile Support Vehicle, is the newest vehicle within GDI's arsenal. However, it does not have any armament, but it does have a very good ability, you could say. When idling, it will deploy and will give all friendly vehicles an increase on attack speed and speed. And that's only when it's on the nearby tiles on the MSV. It will last a few seconds when leaving said tiles, and will make the vehicles win against unusual matchups. They are heavily armored, but should be protected at all costs, and should be used or countered with whatever is needed. It should be deployed right near missile tiles, so you can make the best out of the MSV. The Shatterer is another vehicle that just came by not too long ago, and this thing is pretty good. It can take down all forms of infantry while reducing cost. That's right, all forms of infantry. And that includes cyborgs and zone troopers, and those are the toughest of all infantry. They will shoot and stun the enemy, and will stop the enemy too when it comes to firing. So they'll have not much time when it comes to attacking and that, and will make it harder to escape. These things are best while defending tiles and not going for attacks. Otherwise, the cyborgs and the zone troopers or mutant marauders or grenadiers can easily have a good advantage against them. They won't do any damage when it comes to aircraft or vehicles. The Slingshot is a ranged unit that can take on all forms of aircraft within a 2-tile radius. It can take on most kinds of aircraft, including the Infernos, the Orca bombers, Banshees, and Mohawk gunships. Those are mostly the biggest annoyances when it comes to the air. They can even take on Phantoms and Hammerheads too within a short amount of time. However, they will not do well when it comes to Kodiaks or the Basilisk. Yeah, that's right. God damn it. But they will have no defense when it comes to infantry or ground units, so it should be defended just like some of the other units. It is a very useful unit if people use it within aircraft decks and all, so you can give it the no fun police zone. The MRS is yet another ranged unit that can take on units within 2 tiles away, except it'll take them on the ground. However, much like the MSV, it must be deployed, and are best behind units, missile tiles, or in front of harvesters to protect them. They can fire rockets and will basically instant delete all light vehicles like attack bikes, giga cannons, pitbulls, etc. etc. They will do a good amount of damage when it comes to heavier vehicles like tanks and other tech or temple units. However, after firing all their rockets, they will need to reload and will be vulnerable at that time. They are also vulnerable to infantry and aircraft, so it should be protected at all times. The Predator tank is a slow-moving unit that packs a big-ass gun, and will do a huge amount of damage on all vehicles. Like the Pitbull, it will also fire on the move, so it can be used for aggressive uses. It will take on most of the vehicles on offer, and will basically almost delete the light units. But when it comes to tanks and that, it will take a few other shots. Because of it being more armored, it can soak up damage, but it will not take much punishment when it comes to temple or tech units, and it will do very poorly on infantry and aircraft. The last unit on offer is the APC, or Armored Personnel Carrier. It is also the most expensive unit on offer. It is heavily armed and will be able to move slowly on approach. It has the same gun as the Rhino, so it has limited uses. It can take down much of the infantry, including missile squads without consequence, and it can also take down aircraft such as the Talons or Banshees. It's best used while being on the missile pads, and can be very stubborn to take out because of all that armor, especially against heavier vehicles. It should be grouped up with slingshots, predator tanks, or MRSs to make a very strong grip onto those missile pads. However, when killed, this thing can still be a pain in the ass, as it will deploy a missile squad as quick as possible, and it will take off any vehicle or aircraft while it's still there, or if it's one damaged at least. So it can still be a pain in the ass even when the thing dies. So I hope that was all helpful for you. Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and be sure to look at my Facebook page down below. In our next episode, we are going to be looking at the Nod War Factory units. Until then, GalacticStorm saying, I'll see you guys later.